Paysage italien. Florence. Vérone. Venise. Parme. Bergame. Udine. Bologne. Ça a l'air vraiment daté.
On dirait Hong Kong. Donc c'est là on drague. Donc c'est là on draguait sur ces piers là qui étaient abandonnés.
Why not? I mean, if you live in Wait, that's one.
Some of them, three phases, four phases that we did. A group comes in, France, Italy, right? Walks, looks at the statue, takes pictures, leave. And another group walks through, never takes pictures of the statues, but recognize the statue. They more people than the average human being that's alive meet in their lifetime. They should put that in the tourist book. They don't have that in the book.
Well, you should be not.
You know what? We probably did that. Oh, yes, we did.
Did you see this booklet yet?
Oh yes. People think it's
And you won't get lost, since you don't have a phone, just money.
Yeah, that.
You. Oh. One is by myself, and I do paintings and drawings, and then the other is with my friend who he lives in the Philippines. He lives in the Philippines, in Manila, and so we go back and forth between the Philippines and in New York, and we do shows together, and we make all the work together. He's kind of my muse. He's kind of perfect.
But it's just a friend. It's not.
Yeah, no. Well, he's gay.
Ah, he's gay.
Yeah, but he looks like my brother. He's actually he's like my perfect brother.
Is your same age too?
He's 2 years older.
2 years older. So
Yeah.
it's a big one. It's a.
Big sister, actually. I'm a little more responsible than him. He's just like, he's really like my best friend ever, and we make work together. It's about, I don't know. It's like it's kind of like a critique of like global capitalism, but through these very specific sort of like regional differences between what's happening culturally in the Philippines and then what's also happening culturally in New York, and you know, in these sort of like dominant cultural milieus.
Ensuite des aventures. Bruce Bederson, c'est pas drôle. Mais ensuite des aventures. Bruce Bederson, c'est pas drôle. Mais Bruce Bederson a perdu tous les sous-titres par une mauvaise manipulation, a bad manipulation. He lose all the subtitles.
Yeah.
And so we just learned that 1 hour before the screening, but we go to show...
It goes to Guy.
Yes, it goes to Guy. And so we go to show the English version that Guy make with copy and all the people in 79.
You should talk about that and mention how that version was made.
Yeah. Yes, but I don't want to hurt Bruce Bedenson. He's going to cry.
You might have a bit of a meltdown in front of him.
And so we have to take care about Bruce.
Hi, Bradford.
The people without memory, forgetting quickly that they lived and how they suffered. 50 years ago, this consciousness of being different had its golden age, and then it was wiped out by totalitarian bloodbath. This film hopes to reveal this unknown history by looking at the pictures which have been so long forgotten, the pictures of a homosexual century. This story begins at the birth of photography. Gays are among the first to use intensively this new art. It is a sign of their modernity. They will dare, through photography, to take children's and masculine body beyond reality. From Glidden's young boys to present-day pornography, films have been their privileged means of communication. Gays are also born at the time of changes in the conception of child rising. Children were kept away from them as much as possible, or draped with the aura of honor. There are pictures of the forbidden images into which adults...
So like that with the money you gave me?
I was 13 when... À l'instant, au théâtre, voir jouer la belle Galifix.
Maybe you can... Okay. No, don't do now. But
they're very nice. Yes.
So I'm sure all will be perfect.
All will be perfect. Aren't they amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stefan really wanted them, like silver trash can.
It's a screening of the film Rastet, which we feel is a very important work to be seen in New York and hasn't been seen for 30 years in New York. And we're really pleased to be able to show it tonight and really happy to have partnered with Dirty Ducks, the film series, on this, organising this presentation tonight. We're also really very pleased that we have with us tonight Lionel SOUKAZ, who produced the work with Guy Hockenbrand in 1979, and we're really grateful that he's he's here and is going to be speaking about the work before we screen it. Now, there's a bit of a kind of technical background to give you now, which is that when we started talking with Lionel about showing this work, it became clear that the work has suffered a few problems over the years in terms of when it was first screened in New York in the early 1980s. A version that was produced in English, part of the work was subsequently lost. So in a way, it's partly that reason why we haven't seen it in the US or in the English-speaking sphere, if you like, since then. But the arrangement that we kind of came to and that what we worked through was to subtitle the work, and we luckily through Bradford from Dirty Look started working with Bruce Bendison on that translation, and he's been doing an amazing job on that for a significant amount of time and working very hard, but we've had some technical problems today. And so we have to confess that we're not going to be able to show the subtitled version tonight. But what we are showing is the dubbed version of the first 3 parts of the film, which is the original dubbed version that Guy Hockenquem and Lionel produced in 1979, which is equally amazing, and the subtitled version of the final 4th part, which subsequently was lost in its dubbed version. So it's a fantastic film, and it's even more exciting because it has these different nuances of technical problems. But Lionel will also say that this has been the history of the film for a long time, that every time he's tried to show it, either a fire alarm has gone off and people have been evacuated from the building, or there's been problems, and he says it's the ghost of Guy who's having some revenge on us all. So I'm going to now pass over to Bradford just quickly to say a bit more about the next Dirty Looks screening series, and then we're going to pass to Bruce and Lionel, who are going to have a conversation for 15-20 minutes about Rastep particularly, but Lionel's work a little bit as well, I imagine. And then we're going to show Rastep, which is an hour and 25 minutes, and there'll be a brief break then. And then we're also incredibly excited to be able to show EECS after Rastep. And EECS is a work that Lionel made in 1980. It's a double screen projection that's very different in its nature to Rastep, but it's an amazing work that was made in response to some of the censorship that was experienced by Lionel and Guy towards Rastep. It's a phenomenal piece, and I hope that you can all stay for that, and that's a 45-minute piece. So over to you, Bradford.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's been a terrific honor to be able to co-present with Artist Space on this project, and I want to thank Richard, also Bruce and Lionel for what I'm sure is to be a scintillating and exciting conversation. Hedy Okolte is also in my thanks because we were able to present a translation that he did at the final part of the film, which is at the Royal Opera House. And so we will be able to have a translated version of that. I also want to thank Damon Young, who's in the audience, Greg Humans, and Derek Karner for their work on the publication that we pulled together. And just talk a little bit about a couple upcoming events that are similar thematically to this. On June 2nd, Dirty Looks will present a work by Tom Jocelyn at Union Docks, which is presented by Abraham Lambert, one of which is a recently assembled film that was never completed by Jocelyn, Architecture of the Mountains, alongside his 1976 Black Star autobiography of a close friend. And then on June 27th, we will be screening at White Columns 4 contemporary works made in the last 2 years by Zachary Drucker, Mariah Garnett, Chris E. Vargas, and Matt Wolfe, that are contemporary works that look back at early figures who sort of coined an idea of public gay sensibility. Figures like Peter Berlin, Joe Brainerd, Liberace, and Mother Flawless Sabrina. So those are some things to look forward to. Also, we will be hosting a fundraiser on the 30th for a project that we're very excited to host over the summer. Dirty Looks on Location, a 31-day series of queer interventions in New York City spaces. During that time, we'll install queer film and video in queer social spaces and former sites of queer sociality. So please take a look for that on Dirty Looks website, dirtylooksnyc.org. But now, get ready for a thrilling conversation and screening. Thank you so much.
How's that? Before Lionel and I start to speak, there's just a couple of unusual things I want to say about him. I'm really, really happy to be sitting opposite him. I've never met him, but our faces have circled over the years for like at least 20 years. And in my opinion, Lionel is something very unusual for his culture. There are two things that struck me about French culture as I became more intimate about it. And one has been exported as a concept, it's joie de vivre. And the other is perversity. And this is the first time I've really encountered anyone who was able to combine the two, because usually in France, perversity either has a dark quality that has something to do with Catholic guilt, it's sinister, or if it's funny, it's funny in a biting and morbid way, and joie de vivre is kind of the opposite of that. That's just a joy in life that's connected to nature. And he seems to have gone against the grain and brought these two qualities together, and that impresses me a great deal. You want to say anything about that?
Yes, but all that come from the influence of phare, le Front homosexuel d'Action Révolutionnaire. They make some movie too, one called La Banque du Sperme, Sperm Bank, with a sort of political orgy and capitalistic attack. I'm sorry for my English, I'm sure maybe you can translate for me. Donc oui, tout vient du Front homosexuel d'Action Révolutionnaire animé par Guy Hockenheim, Françoise Daubonne, le féminisme, le PD à l'époque, et tout vient de leur sens de l'humour, qui venait aussi peut-être des mouvements précédents comme les maîtrises, les situationnistes, enfin voilà.
He's locating his joy and perversity in the revolutionary groups that Hockenheim and others belong to, and also with the situation as saying that this quality that I'm noticing is limited to him.
But for the Catholic part of what's true in France, we love that sort of culpability. Catholic perversity.
Yeah.
You are the same Protestant, no? Every religion has that, no? And for the perversity, yes, we are 7 million perverse now. When he made this book, it was only 3 million, now it's 7. The only thing will change.
I'm glad you're still left. When you see that film, you'll see that, in a sense, it's a historical survey of gay identity from the beginning of the 20th century through the 60s and from the viewpoint of beyond, because the film was made in the late 70s. My question for you is, how were you able to cover that period without making one reference to 1968? And was the gay movement so different than what was going on then and so unaffected by it that it has no place in this film? That's what surprised me the most about this film.
Okay, me, I was 14 years old in 68. Guy Meck was 14. Yeah. Guy Meck was an activist of Mai 68, and he was an activist of the phare. But when we make this movie together, he don't want, I want, but he don't want that we speak about his own activism and his own work. And So he don't want to make stuff about himself. So that's the reason, because we don't speak about what he did.
But do you think the revolution of '68 really did not accommodate?
The revolution of '68 was very heterosexual and straight. It was no place for the gay people, no place for the women. It was just, you know, of a revolution of macho men who just want to play Che Guevara and all that. So we appear after that in '71 through the feminist movement against the law prohibited l'avortement,
against abortion.
And so we all come from the feminist movement, and the SOUK was made in the beginning by feminists, lesbian and gay, but after many of the way appears, the lesbian go, you know, because they think the gay only thinks about sex and things like that. So, but anyway, la provenance du mouvement féministe comes from the feminist movement.
Yeah. Okay. I also asked you earlier about the Nouvelle Vague and whether, if you had been old enough, you would have found a place within that aesthetic movement, and whether you think that movement had homophobic elements or whether it was a purely male vision.
Yes, it's a male version, but it's no gay inside the filmmaker. It's no gay inside the story. I don't remember. Right?
I don't remember.
So like
lesbians.
Chantal Ackerman.
Isabelle.
Isabelle Mandelson, yes, but she came after. You
no, le film qui s'appelle Thérèse et Isabelle.
Ah, Thérèse et Isabelle. I don't know this movie. Okay. No, it was like '68. It was for the men and only for the men who love women.
Okay. I guess I've harped on that enough. Can you tell us about your arrest? Is it really true that this film was banned in France for a while? That it was impossible to see it there?
Yeah, the movie was 2 hours, and it was a big part, sort of orgy in the '60s. And so the censorship put the movie X, was a law who put this movie only in pornographic theater. So it was the pornographic theater don't want this movie, so it was we were obliged to fight. But it was, they asked us to cut 25 minutes of the movie. So you see the cut version, but anyway, it was only, you know, sex that we have to cut. All sex who appear has to be cut like in the Vatican.
The whole first part.
No, it was the third part, in fact, in the '60s. It was a big orgy in Marrakesh.
Oh, yeah.
But it was not in Marrakesh, it was in my apartment in Paris. And so we are obliged to cut all this part. But il y a encore quelques sexes qui n'ont pas été enlevés et ils ont arrêté de nous embêter parce qu'il y a eu un mouvement, une pétition des intellectuels de Sartre à Deleuze.
From South. They left a lot of sex in, and eventually they stopped bothering them about it because there was a petition from 20 legitimate intellectuals, people like South and William.
At this period, it was a lot of petition. And they all signed together.
I'm absolutely stunned by what you can do with a low budget and what ingenuity you have. I just wonder if Hollywood came to you and said, "We want you to make a film. Here's $10 million for your budget. Would you be happy to use it? Would you feel that it would ruin your aesthetic? How do you feel about that issue?"
Like Jean Genet, I give money to the Palestinian or to the black movement or people who need for fight. I don't make money with this. I don't make movie with this money. I don't think it's interesting to spend so much money for a movie. I make movie $3 1 hour. It's enough. No more cost.
And you don't feel there's any possibility of improving your aesthetic if you had all the money that you wanted to realize your visions. That's how a lot of American filmmakers talk, so that's why I'm asking.
Can you translate? I don't understand.
Yes. J'ai dit, c'est pas une question esthétique, votre esthétique peut être améliorée par plus d'argent, comme beaucoup de réalistes américains disent.
Oh, I have a... Well, if Hollywood want to call me, okay, I accept, but maybe I just use 1 million, and for the 9 million I give to people who need for activists, but I want to make a movie about one night under LSD, what happens to me when I was very young, and maybe for this sort of movie, because it's a lot of hallucination, vision, all Bobo is exploding, and Eiffel Tower was same. Maybe, but now with just a computer, you can do that for nothing. So, you know, I don't think when I make good things, good movies, just, you know, imagination or friendship, or things like that, who have no price. But this movie, Rasdep, was very expensive for me. It was 50,000 francs, but a long time ago. So,
Yeah.
So it was like $10,000?
$10,000 nowadays.
It's a fortune for me.
80,000.
But now with, in fact, everybody make movie for nothing now. So that's a revolution of informatics and internet and all that.
Do you identify with some of the American underground filmmakers?
Oh yes.
Rallied around Joyce?
Oh yes, in French we all learn from you, especially my generation. But it's true that Varol learned from Cocteau, Genet, but Kenneth Anger make fireworks before Genet. And for us, for my generation, to see Kenneth Anger or Andy Warhol and so on, movies when I was young, inspired me a lot. On X, you can see the second film. It's completely inspired from American movie, underground, experimental movie. Yes, you inspire us, my generation, for feminist movement, black liberation movement, and gay movement. All come from America for us. This period. Guillotine Game was in America in 1969, and it also Stonewall, but Guy Chevalier was a friend of him, was in New York at this period, and he came back in Paris, and he tell to Guy what happens in New York, and they try to do the same in Paris at the Sorbonne. They make 2 posters, and pédérastes de tous les pays, libérez-vous, and they put that near the toilets of the Sorbonne, but the poster just stay 2 minutes, no more. But anyway, all come from America for us.
Yeah. I wonder what you would think about the influence of gay liberation in America today and the values today. Gay marriage, gays in the military.
So Obama and Hollande agree for forgive the gay marriage?
Yeah, the right to adopt. Because it seems like homosexual goals have changed since this time. Might be less Marxist and more related to middle class concerns.
Yes, obviously, I come from a period where we want to change the society and to destroy capitalism, but we don't succeed in that. So, like you know, and so I am for right equality, like so, but I want more. But maybe it's an utopia. In France, we have Charles Fourier, a philosopher of the French Revolution of
something.
Yes, the French Revolution, who want to a big orgy between everybody. So that's the solution. It's better that only one marriage. But anyway, I support that in France, and we hope that with the new President Hollande, the socialist one, we can have that very soon.
I have one last question. I don't want you to go go into too much detail because it will give away.
Yes, because we have to see the
also,
movie.
Part one of the film is about von Bloden,
Yeah.
a German photographer who went to Sicily and took classically posed pictures of naked Sicilian boys. Do you consider that part of parody? In other words, is it funny? Is it satirical? Or do you, what is your attitude toward von Bloden's work and his aesthetic?
It was a book written by Roger Perfit about Bloden, and this is a fiction completely. It's copy. Maybe some people know him who makes the Baron, the voice of the model of the Baron of Bloden who become very old. So it's just imagination. But in the Perfit book, all that was not so far away from the reality. And you can imagine a photographer who take pictures of people who grow up. And so this part is the most delirant,
Yes.
delirious. The second part is more like a documentary. The third part is completely delirious too, because give an idea of the 60s with not exactly the same. It was a sort of utopia. And the last part, try to imagine, because we shoot it in 78, but we try to imagine what would happen in 80, so 2 years after. So it's 4 stories of 4 gay people: Bloden, Hirschfeld, a German activist and doctor. The 60s that we imagine, but the 60s was very, very cut by the censorship, so now it's difficult to understand, but it's the voice of a young man, a bourgeois one, he's not a worker, he's a bourgeois, bobo, comme on dirait maintenant, who become Mr. of Ecology, but was cut by the censorship. And the last part is my favorite one. And you can see Gillingham, who is playing his own character, and I think you have tried to stay until the last part, because it's my favorite one. And you have a question?
No, it's okay.
So thanks to Bruce. It was so nice to make all this work of subtitle, but I'm sure
We won't be seeing it today.
come back.
Come back in a year.
And I want to say thanks to people who make this event possible, and the way they invite me here, they treat me so well, with so much friendship. I want to say thanks to Stephen Kalmar who gave me this apartment for Sunday, to Bruce Gunderson that I love a lot, and that I don't know him, but he's very, very famous in Paris. He's really, really important man in Paris. He writes every month in the gay newspaper called Tétude. Thanks to Amy Lien. Amy is a young, beautiful and talented girl that I love a lot, and I want to say thanks the way she treats me, and she loves me in New York. And I want to say thanks to Richard Burkett, because he became a good friend, I'm sure, for eternity. And thanks to the place here, thanks to Artist Space, thanks to Dirty Looks and Bradford Nordin, and thanks for you to come to support us. And I give you many kisses, and we are ready to answer to your question after the first movie. Thanks a lot.